Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Zainabiyya school educational program reaches out to 25,000 children worldwide. "10% of French total population identifies themselves as Muslims," new study reveals. Jordanian intelligence neutralizes terrorist plan against Shia Muslims. British MP Bob Stewart charged over verbally abusing Bahraini activists. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. The educational program of the Zainabiyya school, which was launched in 1981 by a group of Shia followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhum salam, reached out to more than 25,000 students around the world, especially in rural and impoverished areas in Kenya, India, Pakistan and Tanzania. The school, named after Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, to honor her sacrifices, especially her protection and care for the orphans, has dedicated its activities to follow this approach. The school's administration said in a statement followed by Shia Waves agency that the school's educational program aims at supporting the needy and orphan children through providing them with primary and higher education and the necessary school stationery and other financial needs. It also added that the current circumstances are unpromising, thus it is necessary to intensify efforts to guarantee bigger education opportunities to the children, particularly as reports say that more than 260 million children are out of school and that more than 758 million adults around the world are illiterate. The administration indicated that its educational programs are primarily based on donations given by believers and benefactors. According to a study by the French Nation Institute for Statistics and Economic Studies, 10% of the total population identified themselves as Muslims in France. The institute said that the study involved over 27,000 people between 18 to 59 years old. The study revealed that Islam is growing rapidly as 10% of the population declared themselves as Muslims, which confirms that Islam is the second largest religion in France. It also pointed out that the decrease in religious activities among Christian families is higher in comparison to Muslims and Jewish families. The study also, 91% of the Muslim families surveyed said they had inherited their religion from their parents, while 84% of the Jewish families and 67% of the Christian families confirmed to have inherited their faith from their parents. Jordan's intelligence agency has thwarted a terrorist plan by ISIS-affiliated elements against the Shi'is. The Jordanian Array newspaper said in a report, according to this report, that the terrorist act was supposed to be carried out within the framework of supporting ISIS ideology and against Shi'is who visit the Kirkuk-located shrine of Ja'far al-Tayyar, a loyal companion of the Prophet and brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhim salam. According to Array, the person who intended to carry out this terrorist operation was an adherent of ISIS who promoted and propagated ISIS doctrine among his friends and family. The report adds that the offender made his final decision to carry out terrorist attacks in Jordan in 2021 with the aim of disturbing the security of the Jordanian society and creating terror among the citizens. Array also notes that the 20-year-old young man chose an automatic weapon to carry out this terrorist attack against the Shi'is. He also had monitored the entrances and exits of the shrine and had also determined the exact time of the presence of the Shi'is in this place. An informed authority confirmed that Array also wrote that at the end of August of 2021, Jordanian intelligence arrested this 20-year-old young man after receiving information against him. Let us remind our respective views of today's headlines. A Zainabiyya school educational program reaches out to 25,000 children worldwide. "10% of French total population identifies themselves as Muslims," new study reveals. Jordanian intelligence neutralizes terrorist plan against Shia Muslims. Also tonight, India, posters hang over main markets demanding Muslim traders to vacate their shops. The Conservative Party MP, Bob Stewart, has been charged with public order offences, one of them racially motivated over a clash with a Bahrain activist, the BBC reported. The former British Army officer was investigated after an incident outside the Foreign Office's Lancaster House after an event hosted by the Bahraini embassy in December. Stewart is due to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on July the 5th. The Metropolitan Police said that Mr. Stewart was reported to police by Sayyid Ahmed Al-Wada'i, the director of the Bahrain Institute for Rights and Democracy, who alleges that the MP told him to go back to Bahrain. And now we'll continue with some short news. Bilwal Bhutto Zardari, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, who is on a trip to Iraq, had his picture released after visiting the holy shrine of Imam al-Kadhim and Imam Muhammad al-Jawad alayhum as-salam. He expressed his satisfaction with his presence in his holy shrine. In a statement, he said that this holy place is very important for all Muslims, especially Shi'is and followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam. Our pilgrimage to this holy city and holy place shows our special respect for this place and the sanctity of the shrine. During this trip, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan met and talked with various Iraqi officials, including the Prime Minister of this country, Mohammad Shia al-Sudani. One of the main topics of negotiation between the parties was facilitating the movement of pilgrims and lovers of the infallible Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam from Pakistan to Iraq. As a result of these meetings, the parties made several other agreements to be implemented near future. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has said that the human rights conditions in Afghanistan and Syria are still dangerous and that repatriation of citizens should not be carried out with their consent. Turk's statement came during a press conference in Austria's capital, Vienna, where he expressed his concern over the human rights conditions in these two countries. The UN's top official statement comes in response in calls of Austria's Minister of Interior to repatriate Syrians and Afghans who may pose threat to the Austrian society. Karbala-based Fatimat al-Zahra Cultural Charitable Institute, a center affiliated to the Office of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi, provided dozens of young couples with household appliances in continuation of its charitable activities. This action was carried out on Sunday, June the 4th, in celebration of the birth anniversaries of Imam Ali al-Rida alayhi salam and Sayyidah Fatima al-Ma'suma alayhi salam. In keeping with the directives of the Marji' regarding measures to facilitate the marriage of young people, this was the third series of marriage provisions that had been distributed in the recent project of the Institute. The Iraqi Council of Ministers has issued a decision to restore a motorway linking Baghdad to the holy city of Karbala before the coming Arba'in pilgrimage. In a statement received by Shia Waves agency, the council said that the new decisions made to restore the Baghdad Jurf al-Nasr Karbala road to replace the old one, which is now in bad condition. It should be mentioned that the holy Karbala hosts millions of people from Iraq and other countries who come to perform pilgrimage to Imam Hussein and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhum as-salam. The first modern art gallery in the Arab world reopened its doors 3 years after the explosion, which damaged 57 artworks, but they have now been restored by a team of Lebanese and foreign artists. All the pieces in the museum, including those in storage, had to be carefully cleaned by specialists. However, some original pieces in the museum dating back to 1912 could not be replaced and others had to be put together like a puzzle, says Abdul Khalid, a long-time architect for the museum. Abdul Khalid tells that outlets that the windows were blown off completely, all the stained glass, everything, when the explosion came. It was like a suction, so it blew all the stained glass, which allowed the building to breathe. This was not the first time the museum has been impacted. Previously, it has also been closed and reopened up to 4 times since the art collector Nicholas Sursok's residence was turned into a museum in 1961. Posters have been hung around the country, in particular Uttar Khand, threatening Muslim traders to evacuate their shops by June the 15th. These posters have surfaced 2 days after members of the right wing held protests in Barkot and attacked shops and houses belonging to Muslims. Police are yet to identify the individuals behind this attack. The Porola main market consists of 650 to 700 shops, and out of these 30 to 40 shops are run by Muslims. The ongoing tensions have prompted Muslims to keep their shops shut, and in some cases have had to flee their homes and the district. Salim runs a garment shop in Porola and has had to flee to his brother's house in a different city. Has said, "We are living in constant fear and cannot return to Porola in such an atmosphere. If they want us to leave the hills, authorities should compensate us for the property owned by us." However, on Monday the 5th June, a few Muslim families within the area gave a letter to Porola Subdivisional Magistrate, highlighting their financial crisis and seeking security to reopen businesses. The letter also said the administration will be held responsible if anything was to happen to the Muslims. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Zainabiyya School Educational Program reaches out to 25,000 children worldwide. "10% of French total population identifies themselves as Muslims," new study reveals. Jordanian intelligence neutralizes terrorist plan against Shia Muslims. British MP Bob Stewart charged over verbally abusing Bahraini activists. Posters in India hang over main markets demanding Muslim traders to evacuate their shops. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the appearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I am the sun, the star at the center of your universe. I am a wondrous threat made of hydrogen and helium, marveled by poets and artists alike. Come too close to me